MarJon Beauchamp graduated high school in 2020 as a 4-star recruit and the 58th ranked player nationally per Rivals.com. He had at least 7 offers from major programs including Arizona, Florida State, and Marquette. Beauchamp turned down all of these offers and elected to train for a year in preparation for the 2021 NBA draft. But the COVID-19 pandemic hit and completely altered Beauchamp's plans. In April of 2021, Beauchamp elected to play for his local community college, Yakima Valley. Beauchamp played 12 games for Yakima Valley and averaged 30 points per game, again piquing the interest of major colleges. But again, Beauchamp decided to forego the college route and sign with the G League Ignite in September of 2021. Beauchamp wasn't considered one of the best prospects on Ignite to start the season, but he played well for Ignite and displayed the potential to be a high-level two-way player. He briefly entered the conversation to potentially be a lottery pick, but has now settled into the 20s in most mock drafts. It's been an interesting, winding path for Beauchamp to get here, but it appears that the path will end with him being drafted in the first round. One strength for Beauchamp is that he has some great physical tools to work with. Beauchamp has good size and length for a wing, measuring in at 6'6.5" with a 7 foot and 0.75 inch wingspan. His arms just seem to be everywhere. I'm honestly kind of surprised that his wingspan is only around 7'1". But it's probably because on top of just having good length, he's a fluid athlete and is light on his feet. Beauchamp glides effortlessly around the court with great quickness and pure speed. If he sees a lane to the basket on the court, he is able to hit it quickly before the defense can adjust. He combines his length and fluidity to make tough shots around the basket. He can move his feet quickly to create an angle, or just shoot over defenders with his long arms. Beauchamp isn't the highest of leapers, and he's a bit skinny at 197 pounds, but he has great physical tools in just about every other category. I don't believe he'll have any trouble adjusting to the NBA from an athletic standpoint. Another strength for Beauchamp is defense. Similar to his offensive game, Beauchamp makes great use of his physical tools on the defensive end. His arms are just always in the way, blocking shots and disrupting passes and drives. But additionally, he does some good work in just staying in front of his man. Despite being a bit skinny, he does a good job fighting over screens to stay in plays both on and off the ball. He also works hard and moves his feet quickly on the ball to keep his man in front of him. He does get a little jump happy on pump fakes at times, but outside of that, Beauchamp overall does a really good job as a defender. With his quickness and length, it's very possible that Beauchamp could switch across 3 to 4 positions in the NBA. I think he will need to get a bit stronger to handle true NBA big men, but he comes into the NBA ready to defend on the perimeter. One weakness for Beauchamp is decision-making on the offensive end. This weakness makes a lot of sense for Beauchamp because he took an incredibly weird path to get to where he is as a player. Beauchamp played at 4 different high schools, graduated right as the COVID-19 pandemic was starting, and originally thought he could just train and get drafted before deciding late in the process to go to junior college. This lack of consistency and structure has likely contributed to Beauchamp making some questionable decisions on the offensive end. Beauchamp doesn't seem like a selfish player. Occasionally he makes some really nice passes to set up teammates for good looks, but there are also times where he just seems to aimlessly drive into a crowd or gets caught in the air without an outlet. This leads to awkward shot attempts and turnovers. The coaching staff that gets to work with Beauchamp in the NBA will need to help him slow the game down and not put himself in too many tough positions. Another weakness for Beauchamp is shooting. While Beauchamp's physical profile makes him look like an ideal 3-and-D wing, he has yet to unlock the 3 part. Across 24 games in the G League, Beauchamp shot just 27% from beyond the arc and didn't shoot great at the free throw line either, making just under 72% of his attempts there. These aren't the worst numbers ever, but they're definitely not good enough to make NBA defenses respect Beauchamp out beyond the arc. One silver lining for NBA teams looking at potentially drafting Beauchamp is that in 12 games at Yakima Valley, Beauchamp shot 39% from 3 and 77% from the foul line. So there clearly is some shooting touch to work with, he just hasn't unlocked the NBA range yet by the looks of it. The team that takes Beauchamp will need to understand that the shooting likely won't be there right away and may take some work to unlock. This first clip lets us see some of Beauchamp's ability as a defender. The play starts with Beauchamp matched up against the ball handler basically one-on-one in semi-transition. Beauchamp absorbs the drive through his chest but doesn't lose position. He then stays vertical and knocks the shot away. Beauchamp has great length to be able to knock away shots like this, but his ability to stay in front on drives is what could make him a really good defender. This next clip displays how Beauchamp can struggle with decision making at times. The play starts with Beauchamp receiving the pass on the wing. He initially fakes to the left, then spins back to the right to set up the pick and roll. Beauchamp takes a gather step then gets into the air, but he then gets stuck there because he doesn't have a good option for a pass, and the defender has made it an incredibly difficult shot. Beauchamp ends up trying to finger roll it in and misses. There are times where it seems like Beauchamp just lets the game speed up on him a bit. In the NBA, he'll want to work on slowing down and not getting caught in bad spots. MarJon Beauchamp has had one of the strangest paths to end up potentially being drafted in the first round. From bouncing around high schools, to spending time in JUCO, to finally catching on with the G League Ignite, it's been quite a journey for Beauchamp. He might see a similarly winding path once he does get into the NBA as well. While Beauchamp has good physical tools and looks like he'll be a good defender, he seems a bit raw on the offensive end. He has a solid handle, but I don't see him as a guy that's going to be creating a lot of his own shots at the start of his career. He seems like he'll be a bit more of an energy guy that gets his buckets in transition or off cuts in the half court. The three-point shot coming around is also going to be big for him. If he's able to complement his athleticism with an above-average three-point stroke, he should have no problem finding a foothold in the NBA. But if the shot is just average or below average, I could see him bouncing around NBA benches or spending more time in the G League. Beauchamp has the upside to be a very solid NBA player and is certainly worth a draft pick. He'll just require a bit more development than some other first-round players. My NBA comp for MarJon Beauchamp is Kelly Oubre Jr. Oubre Jr. came into the NBA as a lanky 6'6" shooting guard and has flashed his potential as a fluid athlete and defender throughout his career. Oubre has never really been able to consistently put the three-point shot together, and as a result he's been mostly a bench player in recent years. If Beauchamp is able to refine his shot, he could easily surpass Oubre as a player down the road.